Hello and welcome to another episode of Markers and Monsters. As always, I'm your host Colin, and today, well, I don't know, I think I might want to draw some kind of crazy, ugly, horrific looking mutant freak. Let's see, alright. Okay, so as always with these, I like to start very simple shapes sketching out and work from there. So just kind of the outline of the body, and then kind of fill in some of the details from there. You can see I'm doing this guy's mouth, nose. What I love about doing this kind of stuff is sky's the limit in terms of horrible ugliness. Go crazy. Whatever you want to do. You want to make him, holding a meat cleaver here. You want to make him have like a gross like inset eye or all kind of scars and stuff. Blood, guts, whatever you want. Sky's the limit. It's awesome. Yeah, I decided to give this guy his one eye is all kind of put out. He's got a crisscrossing surgical scars. They're all stitched up, barely any hair, and gotta put him in the overalls. Very classic, like a old nasty hillbilly guy. Some meat hooks in the background. It's a lot of fun. So when I'm doing this, sketches come out really quick, and then from there I kind of like to put in what I consider the largest block of dominant color. In this case, it's going to be this big red blood stain right on his meat cleaver here. It's for the most part only a few colors, and you can pop those out right away real quick. Just give you a good baseline for what's going on. Of course, then next, the overalls are next, as they're a big block of a single color. With the skin tone and stuff like that, his hands, his face, there's going to be all sorts of little colors in there. So once you get those big chunks of color in, it makes the drawing a lot easier. Now, one thing I learned over the years is that every drawing has essentially a central focus, or like the star of the picture. Once you get that done first, the rest comes together a lot easy. That's why I'm kind of not worrying about the background, even though it's a nice big color, easy to put in. You want to get this star done. You want to get him focused, looking good, and then from there the background you can just kind of fill in. Plus, if you color in the background too early, if you want to make any changes to the central figure, the star, as we talked about, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do that. Once the background's in, it's kind of set there. So fill this guy in, kind of outline the various highlights on him. And with this is a lot of fun too, because you can add all these wrinkles into the face, a lot of this just, really gross stuff. I'm using a reddish tone here. It goes really well in the shadowed area with the flesh. Add in the eyeball and kind of the areas of the mouth. Definitely going for that kind of grotesque, redneck cannibal vibe. Kind of stuff you see in movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's actually a lot of movies in this kind of a thing. The Hills Have Eyes. Mother's Day, the original Mother's Day from, I think, the late 70s or early 80s. Yeah, cannibal, mutant, redneck dudes. Just a whole bunch of things like that. And those movies can be really fun. They can be really intense, really gory, which is also really cool. A lot of good stuff. I know, famously now, the Wrong Turn series, if you say mutant, killer, cannibal, redneck dudes, then people think Wrong Turn, at least now anymore. And that's a cool series. I mean, definitely a series of diminishing returns, as after the first one it gets, I don't know, not so great, but hell, I don't know. I've seen all 8, 9, 20, I don't know how many there are anymore. There's a bunch of them. And they're all good for their own reasons. The first one I would say is traditionally the best of the Wrong Turn series, but then after that, the rest of them, even if they're pretty lousy, it's still fun. You watch rednecks kill people, Too much CGI in the new ones, though. I don't like that. If some guy's going to get his ear lopped off, I want to see a fake ear get lopped off. I don't want to see CG ear get removed. But hey, I'm ranting. I digress. Let's get back to it. So, filled in the background with that kind of like a mustardy yellow look. The beams are a little bit red. And what I like to do is, you see the red down there on his meat cleaver. And then the beams up top have a little bit of pink in them, just to kind of give the picture a weight to it. It's balanced out that way. and then that mustard yellow in the background, I thought it would just kind of offset. It also is not exactly the same color as his green shirt, but it's similar enough that it's not going to distract you. You don't want your background color to be like a super massive, like, I don't know, hot pink, and then his shirt to be, I don't know, this like day-glow green, and the two colors compete with each other. I kind of want them to blend in, and that way what really pops out in this picture is going to be this guy's face, and then after that his bloody meat cleaver and hand there. And those are what I consider the stars of the piece, and I let those take precedence, and those are the things you're going to see when you look at this. And the rest of the stuff is just detail that your eyes can look at your leisure after those big things kind of give you an impact. Alright, so it looks like the inking's coming along here nicely. Yeah, it's really cool to add in all these little scars, and he's got little tiny, like the green spots are these little like pimples or boils, just really gross and nasty. Like you do not want to see this guy, well, anywhere really, but a dark alley, yeah, but anywhere. You don't want to ever meet this guy. Missing teeth, and the green teeth, I know it's a little much, but yeah, it's fun, it's good. He's just gross all over, and that's kind of that's a lot of fun. If you've ever seen the cartoon show Ren and Stimpy, I know it was on when I was a kid, but they would have these close-ups of just the grossest things, Ren's nerve ending sticking out of where his teeth used to be, and pimples and boils and boogery noses. It's just disgusting, but I can tell you that as an artist, it's a lot of fun to draw those kind of things. You can just be as, gross as you want. You can give the details, and kind of the point is to gross somebody out, so it's kind of a fun challenge that way. I mean, I don't think this guy is too bad, but then again, I drew him, so if you think otherwise, if you think he's just the most repulsive creature you've ever seen, great, awesome. Alright, just kind of leveling things out here. I'm going to add some details into the overalls here, just to give you, I know they're blue, but toning them down with that black and a little bit of texture just lets you know that there's something there. That it's not just a blue ocean, essentially, of just solid color. That little bit of texture allows you to know that it's maybe a fabric of some kind, and I went with little cross hatches there. It gives the impression that it's a coarser fabric rather than something nice and soft. This guy doesn't have too many luxuries, so 500 thread count jeans overalls are not something this guy has access to. Plus, it's really nice to add a lot of texture in either the background or foreground, and then add areas with very little texture, aka that meat cleaver area in front or behind it. Balancing that out, it draws interest to the objects. Once I add in all this cross hatching here in his overalls, hopefully you'll be able to see, but that meat cleaver is going to stand out a lot more than if it was just essentially a plain area on another plain area. And I could make the overalls just a solid black too, but I wanted the textured area. Even if your mind doesn't consciously acknowledge and say, okay, that's that's what the overalls are, that's an area. Just the fact that texture's in there, it lets your mind know this information without you consciously having to look at it, that those are coarse overalls. Alright, let's add in some meat cleavers here in the background. Just simple silhouettes, just something to give a slight implication of where this guy might be in like a barn or a slaughterhouse or who knows where. He's coming along really nicely at this point, and I'm digging it. I like his yellow fingernails and the gross yellow-green teeth he's got. Just add just a little bit of black splatters to the blood there, make it messy, and next we're just going to add in a couple of highlights to him, and he is looking pretty good, I think. Alright, awesome. Alright guys, let's take a look here at the image scan. You can take a better look. Alright, there he is in all his gross glory. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Markers and Monsters. thanks again for joining me. As always, I am your humble host, Colin. If you want to catch up with me on social media, any of that fun stuff, links are up in front of you now. So, enjoy! Until next week, I will see you on the next episode of Markers and Monsters.